So before we dive in, what I'm going to share with you today are some examples of where these technologies are moving and what's possible with the solutions that are currently on the market. Now, I know new technologies can be overwhelming, so fear not, because we're going to come back at the end to give you some practical takeaways for these insights. So in terms of 360 video and virtual reality, we're noticing two key trends. The first is accessibility. So not only have we seen support for 360 videos roll out on platforms like YouTube and Facebook, but now 360 videos and video players can be embedded directly on your website, and they can also be viewed responsively. In fact, Samsung Android or any Android device is now supported that 360 content in their native video player, so check it out. It's also becoming more immersive and more engaging. 360 videos are a great way to curate an immersive video experience. But already marketers and those first adopters are looking for ways to enhance these experiences even further. So instead of a traditional 360 video, which allows you to look up, look down, look behind you, true virtual reality allows you to actually engage in the environment. So take, for example, the new Facebook Spaces, which just rolled out in beta at their F8 conference about a month ago. Facebook Spaces is their first virtual reality product, and this product allows you to connect with friends and objects in a virtual environment. So one thing that I think is really unique about this product is that it allows you to access real-world content, including that 360 content that you're working on, within an interactive digital environment, which essentially gives you the best of both worlds. Another trend you're likely going to encounter is room-scale virtual reality. So imagine using a camera in combination with sensors to map out the space in your living room, and having the ability to physically walk through a virtual space within your own home environment. So the HTC Vive, which is room scale enabled, has already been on the market for quite some time. And earlier this year, Oculus rolled out the ability to use room scale technology in conjunction with their new touch controllers. So here in this example, what you're catching is a glimpse of room scale VR in action. This is an attraction that was developed for Universal's Halloween Horror Nights this past year. And as you can see, individuals are utilizing the head-mounted display headsets, and they're engaging with that physical environment while it's being layered with the digital aspects of virtual reality. Okay, so augmented reality, most of us have heard of it. At least now, we all in this room or on the call have heard of augmented reality, but a lot of us still don't exactly understand how it works. So in the simplest terms, augmented reality utilizes a camera to recognize an image. It tracks its position and then augments the display with digital content. So currently, there are three solid use cases for augmented reality. And the first one that we're going to look at is the display of information. These are things like directions, notifications, or messages that are layering in on live content on your phone. However, Google is taking this concept one step further with the release of their new Google Lens product, which they just announced a couple of weeks ago at their annual I/O conference. And this is Google Lens, not Google Glass, which did have some challenges, is not currently on the market. But with it, Google is now combining the power of image recognition utilized with your phone and combining that with machine learning to turn your smartphone camera into a search box. So yep, now we have another scenario where we're competing with other avenues for users and visitors to access and gain information where they may not have access to our content. This is a really cool feature, though, and really convenient for the user. So if you want to try it for yourself, this is going to be rolling out in 2017, and the first rollout is going to be through the Google Assistant and the Google Photos application. So be on the lookout for that. Okay, the second is digital objects. If you have young children, you might recognize this concept from the popular Pokemon Go application. But for destinations, consider the potential that this has to, say, give you the ability to recreate a historic landmark. Or you could create an augmented reality arts tour around your city. As adoption continues to grow in these types of applications, we're definitely going to see this having a place in how we enhance the visitor's in-market experience. And then last, it's enhancing the existing objects. So these are things like filters, effects, and frames. We talked about Snapchat. Snapchat filters are incredibly popular, and Facebook is now actually capitalizing on this trend. And they'll be giving users tons of out-of-the-box options for enhancements. However, their goal by making this open source is to encourage community contributions. So if you're taking a photo in New Orleans during Mardi Gras, you can get access to themed enhancements that are going to help that user tell their travel story or share their experiences in these fun and more creative ways. And then internet-connected eyewear, which Aaron alluded to, is gaining some traction, even though there aren't a ton of products on the market currently. And while our phones are succeeding first in delivering augmented reality to the masses, a push to glasses and lenses is definitely in the pipeline, with some products currently on the market. Snapchat's version, HoloLens from Microsoft, those are already on the market. But with big players like Google, Apple, Facebook, all collectively investing billions in both lens and hologram technologies, this is something to be on the lookout for, definitely in 2017 and trending in 2018. Okay, so quickly, just wrapping up, what should we be doing in light of all of these new opportunities? So to give you some thoughts, here are some takeaways to consider. First, I'd suggest look for low-cost opportunities, right? Find ways to leverage platforms that allow you to showcase or contribute your content. So for example, those destination-specific filters that we just talked about. Ensuring your most inspiring, rich media content is accessible on these platforms so that they can be utilized with these new features. The second is monitoring and observing. Keep a pulse on the technologies and see what's gaining the most traction. Also assess what's the best fit for your market and for your budget. And then once you've invested, make sure that you're evaluating the performance and making sure that what you're doing is both visible and accessible. So, you know, we all know those technologies can be intimidating. We talked about that at the beginning of this. So make sure that you try to eliminate any barriers or roadblocks for your users. Make it easy for them to access your content. Make it easy for them to engage.